Okay, everybody, I'm going to let you get going to this video in just a second, but before I do, me and old Rooster Man, by the way, are out here on a little adventure. We're going out to film another video, which you'll see later in time, but right now, that's not important. What is important is that our band, the Sightliners, have finally, after 2 years of waiting, we finally have our album. We have our CDs in hand, you guys, and it turned out better than I ever could have dreamed. That was Roost on the rumble strips there, if you're wondering. But anyway, what's going on, you guys? We're going to release that between Christmas and New Year's. The release will coincide with a YouTube video, so be watching for that. You're going to want it, and I promise you it will be worth every penny that you pay for it. Enjoy the video. Good morning, everybody. It's I want to say it's a frosty, cold morning. It's a little frosty, a little frost. Mostly just cold because I'm not wearing my full garb. We're headed back out. I've been home for 2 days. Was home Monday to be around to help sort and ship our cattle. We brought all the calves in. You've seen some of those before. I think I've posted the last 2 years videos. Gathering up the cattle, sorting them off, hauling them to town and selling them. We did that Monday. We sold them yesterday. And that was kind of that. They did well. Markets are really high, which is strange. A lot of times when the economy's kind of slowish, ag markets are high. And when the economy's high and fast paced, the ag markets are slower. It's an interesting thing. But anyway, had 24 days on, 2 days off. I don't know who I work for, but I got to get after this boss of mine and tell him to ease up a little bit. There you can see the frost up on top. Oh yeah, little frosty. Whew. While I was home yesterday, I was due for an oil change. Put about, well, in October we did 17,000, 18,000 miles. I can't remember the exact in the cab over. And we're putting some miles down in November as well. So anyway, it was oil change time, so we did a little bit of, oh, look at that sun coming in. Oh baby, oh baby. Oh, man, that feels good. My camera finger is definitely getting a little cold though, holding the old camera out there. Anyway, we got her serviced up. Felt good to give her some love. Really been treating me right. So this morning was a good test on the engine heater too. It has a timer on it. So I timed it to start at 5 a.m. and run for 2 hours. It's a little after 7 a.m. Jumped in there and it just fired right up because it's all warm. All right, also the plan for today, it's a little different. This happens usually about maybe once a year to me and never quite in this fashion. So I have a load of bred heifers here in the town I'm from, loading this morning. We're just pulling into the ranch, going to Williston, North Dakota. There I will unload. Check this out. There's the herd right there. So we'll unload, and the outfit that we're unloading at actually has a load of bred cows. Heifers would be the first time having their babies. He's getting rid of some older cows that are coming back here to where I'm from for a sale on Friday. So loaded out, loaded back. Never happens. Ever. So let's get this done. Okay, full disclosure, it's not a full load. It's 14 bred heifers, which is only about 20% of the load. So it's not like a full-on go over there, but you know, it'll pay enough to probably cover a lot of my fuel for the trip and make the load coming back all the sweeter. So here, this is a great example, you guys, of in the trucking world, oftentimes they say there's no such thing as a backhaul. Like, there's just no such thing as a backhaul. You know, it costs you the same amount to run all your miles regardless. There's varying arguments. This is the case where this just doesn't apply. So I've got basically 15,000 pounds on, and the going rate would say that if you live by that mentality that there is no reason to offer a break ever, there's no backhaul, there's no nothing, I would supposed to be charging rather. So anyway, it would be way too expensive. Can't charge a full load rate for 15 head. So instead, you figure out what percent is 14 or 15 head of a full load. If it was a full load, it's 20% of a full load, 25% of a full load. That's what we'll charge, since we're getting a load over here to come back. Okay. Otherwise, they'd have so much money in freight tied up in these few head that you wouldn't be able to buy it. So you got to be sharp and kind of work with guys and make things happen. Lickety split, time warp, bing bang boom, you guys. Here we are in the heart of the Bakken, Williston, North Dakota. This is where it all's been happening for the last since about 2006, 2007, 2008. The oil field rolled into town. They kind of saw the Wild West out here. If you've ever been around an oil boom, it goes from quiet to crazy to lawless to developed to quiet. If I remember right, I believe that this guy kind of found a little niche market when the oil field went wild, in that a lot of people got out of ranching. There became a lot of land for lease, a lot of grass available out here years ago. And from what I remember, everybody was getting away from it because a lot of these ranches and stuff were getting oil money from wells. He was like, hey, I'll run cows. Let's go all in on the cow business. Yeah, so smart thinking. And last thing, believe it or not, my brother Luke, who I podcast steady at the wheel with, a lot of you have wondered about the podcast stuff. I'm not sure where we'll be at exactly when this comes out. Hopefully we're back to it, but we've been on a little bit of a break. I've been on a YouTube break as well. But as time re-presents itself, that'll get underway. Anyway, Luke, when he was right out of dental school, he came out here to a little town called Watford City, and he practiced dentistry right here in nearby where we're at right now. He has some good old stories he's shared about practicing dentistry in the old oil patch. Hey, Mama. Hey. With a bing and a bang and a boom, we're getting out of here. Still got a little daylight even. So yeah, just plenty more funny things to tell you about this deal. We had to sell about half of our cow herd off 8 or 10 years ago. Lost a grass place that we had for summertime, so we had to downsize. And this guy here is actually who bought our cattle. And I remembered the name, and I was like, man, this really seems like a familiar name. And then we chatted on the phone, and he's like, you've been here before. Then we put it all together. They've really they've gone all in though since I was here. When I was here, they were kind of just getting set up for it all those years ago, for the huge influx they were taking on. Now they're all, see a lot of equipment and rocking and rolling. So good to see. I always love to see when folks in the ag world are going and growing and doing the thing, especially where they took on more cattle. A lot of people are getting out of the cattle and less cattle, it feels like. Back when I was growing up, most of the farmers all had cows, as part of their operation. And then as farming got more money into it, a lot of the farmers got away from cattle because they just didn't feel like it was worth the trouble or whatever. So anyway, it's good. We love cows. We love cows. So next up, what is it? About a 350-mile drive back. Timed it actually really well. We had a raging tailwind all the way over here. And then coming back, the wind has just died off. As the sun goes down, that wind goes down, usually in the fall time in Montana and the Dakotas, most of the time. So we'll gird up our loins here and rock into the unknown. It's actually pretty known, but you know the term. See this right here? This is the bridge in quotation marks. The bridge. Notorious. It's a great story about this bridge. If you don't believe price gouging exists in the diesel world, check that out right there. $5.13 at the Loves for credit. Honestly, you guys, that's probably the highest priced diesel right now in like a 600-mile radius, and it's only because it's right in the heart of the oil field. So, kind of Loves. You go like a little ways that way, and all of a sudden it's down to $4.11. It's a whole dollar cheaper. So. I'm not telling you anything you didn't already know. Kind of interesting out here, a couple things I've noticed. You'll see a lot of real big old shops, like big giant shops, you know, 6 or 8 doors, 10 doors, 15 doors. In fact, the Kenworth dealer out here is an old oil field. By old, I mean a 5-year-old oil shop, gas company, whatever. They got built up, and then, you know, hard times, whatever, they pull out and the building's empty. So like the Kenworth out here is like a big blue and white building. It's kind of funny. Another thing I saw was this just monstrous RV park. A lot of oil field workers, when it's booming, they come out with fifth wheel campers, bumper pull campers, pull in, and that's where they live for a few years. And I drove by one just over on the Montana side of the line, and there must have been weeds and kochia and all this stuff. Not OSHA, kochia, which is kind of a fireweed. A lot of different names for it, I guess. Anyway, it grows really tall and it's really thorny, nasty stuff. Anyway, it was probably 5 feet tall. All you could see, this huge giant park, and all you could see was light posts sticking up every so often. I think it'll be dark by the time I get back by it. I won't be able to show you, but it's boom and bust. Casper, Wyoming, seen a lot of that. Gillette, Wyoming, seen a lot of that. You know, a lot of old abandoned warehouse type, truck shop type places that sprang up. They used them for 2, 3 years, 4 years, and then once everything got established, they pull out and they're on to the next place. From here, a lot of them went down to what was called the Permian Basin, which was down in Texas, I believe. And isn't that Midland, Odessa? Am I thinking of the right place, you guys? This is the Bakken. That, I'm pretty sure they call that the Permian Basin down there anyway. That was kind of the next big oil boom after the Bakken was settled. It's not that it goes away. It doesn't go away. The oil field is established. It's built. The infrastructure's in place. And then they move on to the next one. And it's weird because what it leaves behind is a lot of this abandoned stuff. And there's really nothing you can do about it. I mean, you have to have all this stuff going on in the years that they're establishing the field. And then once the field is established, money's in the next field for, you know, those companies that specialize in establishing oil fields. So there's really nothing you can do about it. It's just kind of what it is. But I'm glad they got her out here, got her going. Back when it was being developed, like right now we're on this big 4-lane freeway. This would have just been a little 2-lane road with a gazillion trucks on it. Interesting times. Well, not exactly what I would like to have on a long night, long drive. No way around it. Been sitting here for about 10 minutes. No movement in sight. Kind of a rural area here. A little worried we might be sitting for a while. Might need to call that number there and report a car on the tracks. Get them to do something. Oh. I'm about what am I, 4 hours away from delivering these babies. And here we sit. Hey, good news. After 30 minutes, a couple trains came by. I guess we're just waiting, yielding for some westbound freight. Anyway, looky there. That's the one we've been waiting for. All right, we made it. Let's get a hat on here. Here we go. Let's go find a pen, get these cattle unloaded, get them back on some water, get home. So when you get here, you flip a switch on the front of your trailer, and it turns those lights on inside, see? So there's light inside. How'd we do on the dockage? Looks pretty good to me. Now, the sale barn owner, who I used to auctioneer with back in the day, said to put him in pen number 203. 203, which I think, oh yeah, it's right over there. Let's see. Just open a few gates. Don't mind the darkness. Rather, it's 233. So they'll get in here, they get a little water over there. They'll hang out for the night. They will be checked for pregnancy in the morning and put on feed. Hey. Hey. Come on, mamas. So this would be your pretty typical little check-in shack, or shoot house they call it. It's usually between the loading chutes, somewhere up here where the semis unload. After you unload, you gotta come in. You gotta fill out your paperwork right here, whose they are, how many there are, what the deal is. Fill out your trucking invoice and leave that so it's ready to go. As it says up on the wall, I'm not sure how the camera will read that, probably backwards. Notice to consigners, list any additional information that might be of help in selling your livestock. So that's what we do on here.